Hello and welcome back to my holiday series. Today is October 18th and it is Ride to Work Day. So this is intended for bike riding specifically. So I thought today I would share a little PSA, if you will, about riding safety from my own personal experience. So, where I lived at my first apartment, I was basically down a straight shot road to the hospital where I worked. I worked in the medical office building, so it was specialty offices basically, and I worked at an OBGYN. And literally, like I said, straight shot down the road, okay? So I am riding my bike because it's a beautiful day, it's nice out, saves on gas. Honestly, I got to work faster sometimes riding my bike because the traffic on that road can be pretty bad. So, I'm pulling up to a Walgreens. Okay, they're always on the corner, right? So, and I don't know why I didn't go behind him, because I guess that's part of the PSA here. So I stopped. Well, first of all, I slowed down. The dude was still stopped. He was trying to pull out this away and turn this away onto the road, right? I'm coming from this direction. He is looking this direction at the oncoming traffic. Okay, so I slowed down. He was still stopped. Cars are still coming. I stopped. I swore that we made eye contact, and this is something that you really do need to do with cars, is make eye contact with that driver, okay? So he had stopped, I was stopped, I decided to go because I thought that he saw me. That's when he decided to go. So it's truly the slow motion thing that you hear about in movies and TV shows and things. It felt like it both took absolutely forever for me to stop moving, but also felt like it went like that at the same time. It was very bizarre. I hope to never have that kind of feeling again, and I don't wish it on anybody else. But the way he managed to hit me, I mean, I was almost to the second lane of traffic that was coming this way. Okay, so thankfully I did not make it that far because I would have been run over on top of being hit by a car. So again, it's that weird slow motion yet split second thing that happened. And now, okay, another safety thing, which thankfully I don't think I actually hit my head. However, wear a helmet, okay? As dorky as you think that you might look or anything like that, please wear a helmet. If you're going to be riding on the street or by a street, I mean, really, even if you're in like a park or a trail or anything like that, you should probably still wear a helmet, but especially if you're going to be around cars, please wear a helmet, okay? I was not wearing a helmet. Thankfully, I did not hit my head. I say I don't think I did because who the hell actually knows? My eyes were reactive, so I didn't have a concussion or anything like that, thankfully. So I was pretty much laying there, and I don't know who called the police, because I know that a dude came, and it was not the dude that hit me. It had to be from like the person who was coming up, because like I said, it's a very busy road. He was waiting for the perfect time to pull out. He thought he was clear, so he went. So another dude, I think it was the guy who stopped to avoid, hitting the other car and me. And I don't know if other people actually stopped or not, like from the other lane or anything like that. I think he was the one that called the police. And then there was an ambulance also. And then there was my sister. No, maybe an ambulance didn't come. I was with my sister. So my sister, who worked at the pediatric office, not in the hospital, but, you know, she's a nurse and everything too. Someone had seen me either get hit or laying on the ground or whatever, and texted my sister or called my sister and said, hey, did your sister ride her bike to work today? And my sister's like, oh yeah, probably, it's nice out, whatever. And she's like, I think there was an accident. So then my sister shows up in the Walgreens parking lot, and she insists I go to the hospital, which, I mean, yeah, obviously you don't want to go, but, you know, it's always best to go. So she drove me down the rest of the way down the road to the hospital. I kind of made her call my mom, or our mom. I was filling out paperwork, you know, I can't call and fill out paperwork at the same time. I mean, I'm all rattled, obviously, just from the whole thing. The other thing I want to point out is I knew this dude that hit me. He didn't know me, or he probably didn't remember me, but when I worked at Avanti's, he used to come in all the time. Avanti's is a restaurant, by the way, Italian restaurant. He would come in all the time with his mother, whom he still lived with. Now, he's an older dude, like, not old, but, like, I don't know, he was probably in his 40s, and I was in my 20s at the time. So I knew him. I knew his stupid, bleach blonde, spiky hair. Don't know who he was trying to be. But I remembered him. He's just a very distinctual man. Like, I remember him, right? Later looked him up on, Judici and found out that, he is, let's see, he had lists of, like, forgery, I think pedophile, and a couple other things, like minor charges. So overall, not a good dude already. And he, you know, lived at home with his mom, which is probably why he lived at home with his mom, because he probably couldn't do anything from being a pedophile, you know? So yeah, back to the story. So we get to the ER, check in, all that stuff. I make my sister call our mom, and I am not kidding you. My mom, like, I swear it was, my sister got off the phone and there was my mom. Like, it was insane how fast she got there. Granted, it wasn't that far of a drive for her to get there. It's just a couple roads, honestly, to the hospital from her work. So we see her where the room was that I was in. You know, you could see through the door window, right? She comes flying around this. She whipped around the corner so fast and, like, burst into the room. Like, it was insane how fast she got there and how fast she flew around the corner to come into the room. Overall, that day, I felt fine. I had some scrapes and things, obviously. Things like that. There was no, I think at the time, maybe my back kind of started, which, I mean, obviously, like, you know, you tense up when you're being hit, right? So I think that I tensed up, and so my back just kind of hurt a little bit, right? So I decided to still go to work because I literally worked at the hospital. The medical office building is literally across the hall from the ER, so if I need anything, I work at a doctor's office. Yeah, she's an OB, but, like, I mean, you have to go through basic, you know, to be a doctor, right? So she knew what to look for if I, you know, suddenly collapsed or something like that. So I didn't get any x-rays or anything initially because, you know, I had full function of everything. Nothing really hurt, which that's adrenaline for you, because later it did. So I ended up having to get an MRI of my hip, and I have permanent cartilage damage in my hip. It cannot really be, well, I guess there's a newer surgery that actually one of the pediatric providers had done to repair it. At the time when it happened, there actually was not anything to surgically repair it or anything like that. They're like, oh, you know, you'll have pain and all this stuff, and eventually you'll probably have to get like cortisone shots every so often, whatever, and then like a hip replacement. And I'm like, dude, I am so freaking young right now. Like, why? I can't even think about a hip replacement. Like, that's old people. Old people need hip replacements, not someone young and relatively healthy, right? So, I was out of karate for a little while because of it. My knee, I never did get an MRI of, but, it every so often decides to hurt and stuff. And either, whether it was from how I was walking because my hip hurt, that then damaged my knee, that could be, it could have been damaged initially and just didn't really know, you know. Adrenaline does a lot, for your body. So, who knows? But yeah, so I mean, I was late to work, but you know, I had a pretty valid reason for being late to work. Like probably the only time I was ever late to work. So yeah, it turned out he was in the wrong. He had to pay for, I mean, really, he actually paid over the amount for a new bike, which was really kind of funny because the bike I had had since the 8th grade. And instead of just saying, we'll buy you a new bike, his insurance was like, oh, write down all of the parts and things that were damaged on the bike. And all of those parts turned out to be well over a new bike cost. Unfortunately, when I bought a new bike, I then found out I couldn't ride it because the up and down hurt my hip. I'm not supposed to really lift my knee up. This is my good knee, by the way, or my hip. I'm not really supposed to lift my knee up like past my hip. Like I'm supposed to keep it level, basically. So riding a bike is not good. So then I had to sell my bike. And I got a cool one too. It was like a Panama bike, had the basket thing on the back, and it had a basket in the front. Like you put a basket on, like you had the straps, like for the thing on the back. Can't think of the words I'm trying to say. But it was cool. It was like a Panama beach bike. I loved it. Had it for a few weeks, I think. So yeah, that really sucked. And now, you know, it's like I'm an old person and I'm like, oh, ooh, my hip's starting to hurt. Feels like rain. You know, it's a true thing that happens. But yeah, so, ride your bike today, but be careful, okay? Always be aware of your surroundings. I don't even know why I didn't think to go behind the car to go around him. I don't know, because I was just coasting and just going, because it's like I was going downhill, you know. So yeah, just be careful. Be aware. Wear a helmet. Hell, wear knee pads, elbow pads, all that stuff. Like, you know, I mean, I got scraped up some, but I don't know what the pads have done for that. But, you know, like, I mean, just really be safe. You know, car etiquette, bike etiquette, learn them all. I did later, this dude, it had been months, maybe even a year. I don't even quite remember how long it was. My parents received a subpoena illegally for me. My mom's like, well, the officer knew I would give it to you. And I'm like, no, that's illegal. They have to issue the subpoena to the person they are subpoenaing. Like, that's not, you can't just deliver it to any random person. Oh, yeah, I'll give it to him, don't worry. You could have shred it. You could have been, I could have been estranged from you. Like, they can't do that. So anyway, I had to have my dad come with me to the courthouse. And I'm sitting there literally shaking like a leaf, thinking I'm going to have to, like, testify. Like, I'm going to have to say what happened. And, like, what? So I hear the lawyer person who's going to be on my side go over and talk to him. My dad almost sat right next to him. I'm like, no, over here. Like, get away from him. And I heard her say to him, yeah, you can try to say that the sun was in your eyes, but it all comes down to you hit a pedestrian on a bike. So then he dropped it. I am like, can I get, like, mental anguish right now for this? Because holy shit, like, what did you the stress and anxiety that put on me was insane. Absolutely insane and so unnecessary. And we had to sit there for so long. And I was just sitting there shaking the entire time. Like, what the hell? So, yeah. Still turned out it was his fault because he fucking hit a pedestrian. Right? How do you go against that? I don't even know. And why would you wait so long to do so? That's just insane to me. So, yeah. Be safe. Never sign right away, because that's another mistake I did. I just wanted it done and over with. My mom had to fight her employer for carpal tunnel surgery, and I had seen the grief and stuff that caused her, so I'm like, nope, I don't want to deal with it. You could just pay for medical visits through here, because I didn't think that anything was wrong with me. And then you find out there's something wrong with you, so then it comes back on me. So, don't sign anything preemptively or anything like that. Yeah. That was a crazy long story. I think this is my longest video so far. So again, National Ride to Work Day, but be safe. Be safe when you do it, okay? Yeah, that's really all I got. So, be safe, have a good one, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye!